When you uncovered the truth that it was just them projecting onto you their insecurities, their unworthiness, their not enoughness, whilst I know it probably was a very, very painful realization, what you did was so incredibly profound. You finally realized moment, in that moment, that it never had anything to do with you. It never did, and it never will. And that you, most importantly, were enough and worthy all along. You see, this is bigger than you can even imagine. And this is why you have become unrecognizable, because you have uncovered the truth. And it is time. It's time to celebrate it, time to receive all of that abundance, those opportunities that have been waiting for you, to realize that you are more than worthy for them. And you always were. For that love, for that person, for those friends, inspirational, soul-aligned friends, a soul tribe, for that lavish, luxurious life, for that freedom, the financial abundance, for that body, for that career, for that business, for that success. And most importantly, for the version of you that walks with pride and confidence in all that you are. Now you've realized. So whether you are here or whether you are just awakening to this, or whether you are still in the feeling of, is it my fault? It is my fault. I must fix this. This is how life must be. This is the video, the breakthrough that you have been long awaiting. We are all vibrationally connected. We are all energy, and energy matches energy. And when you were born, or before you were born, or during your birth, you soaked up a belief unintentionally, or you came into this world with a belief that you are not enough, worthy enough, lovable enough, based on something that happened, that you would be laughed at, that you would be ridiculed, that you wouldn't be wanted, that you wouldn't be chosen, that you would have to live in fear, that no matter what you did, you were never, ever going to make anything of yourself, that you were never going to be perfect enough, and you were never going to be the one where people stayed in your life. You see, this was just a belief on what somebody else was carrying, or it could actually be a part of a contract that you've come here to fulfill, a generational trauma pattern breaker. But you see, this is what everybody else was carrying. This isn't what you were carrying. You came into this whole world complete and enough and worthy, just as you are, just because you existed. A miracle. But because of how we are all energetically connected, what other people were holding on to when you were in the womb, before you were born, past life, generational trauma, just after you were born, whatever was happening outside of you, your mind soaked it up as a feeling and an emotion, which created the belief. So whether you're in the womb, whether you were in the womb, whether you were experiencing early life situations, none of this was about you. It was about somebody else. So until today, you have been unintentionally carrying somebody else's vibration, beliefs, emotions, thoughts about themselves. You have soaked up their beliefs about themselves and what happened to them throughout their life. As you get older, this person's vibration grows and develops within you in ways that are extremely painful. That pattern builds, the momentum keeps growing. And when we attract people or circumstances, they show us what this deep-rooted belief is, but it isn't who you are. They are projecting their insecurities, their unworthiness, their not enoughness onto you because you have been carrying this deeply rooted, buried belief. Your ego says, yes, this is true for me. This is who I am. Because you are being matched vibrationally to that based on what you are deeply carrying, which then leads to pushing love away, feeling unlovable, struggling to hold on to abundance, and attracting chaos and unpredictability. Not feeling enough, wanted, chosen. But when you realize this and you see that it was never about you, it was their vibration, they could see who you were all along. They could see who you were all along. Your beautiful, bright light, your kind heart, your potential. But you couldn't. And that's the key. You couldn't see it because they had the power over how you experienced your life. And this is the biggest breakthrough for taking your power back. It was never about you. It was everything about them. You just matched them based on that deeply rooted belief, the root cause. So whether you are now the unrecognizable version of yourself because you've uncovered this truth, or whether you are just starting to peel back these layers, or whether you are sick and tired of being sick and tired of being treated less, this is for you. When you wake up, to the truth that it was never about you and all you were doing was carrying somebody else's vibration, everything changes. When I was born, I'm going to share this story with you. When I was born, my mum, when she'd gone into labor with me, she'd said to my dad, you know, my dad's name, I've gone into labor. And my dad responded by saying, but the football's on. Now, my mum already had some low self-worth issues in her life. And the relationship that my mum and dad had was not healthy. But when I went back within, going through my subconscious, taking myself back to when I was born, I could sense that there was a feeling of something that wasn't right. Something that wasn't right. And so I was lucky enough before my mum passed away to be able to speak to her and ask her exactly what happened. I mean, I can tap into speaking to her now, but then I spoke to her about what happened. And I said to her, I said, Mum, did something happen when I was born? And she was like, no, everyone was really lovely in the ward and it was all great. And I said, no, Mum, it wasn't great. I said, something happened. There's an atmosphere in the room. And this is a life transformational skill that you learn through the Be Love program. I said, no, Mum, something happened. I can sense it. Something happened. What happened? I said, maybe it wasn't then. Maybe it was just before I was born. And she told the story. She said, I went into labor. My waters broke and I told your father. And he turned around and said, yes, but the football's on this evening. And I said to my mum, how did that make you feel? And she said, like an inconvenience. And I tell you, I have felt like an inconvenience my entire life, even to the extent when my ex-specific person, I remember saying to him once, I feel like an inconvenience to you. And he said, I could see why you would think that. I had to be treated like I was an inconvenience based on the fact that that was my deepest, darkest, most negative belief that I had about myself. I had to be treated that way. And that's how I was shown up in the world, like I was an inconvenience. Like I wasn't wanted. I wasn't enough, you see. But it was nothing to do with me. This feeling of feeling like an inconvenience, my mum felt that like that her entire life. But it was nothing to do with me. I had just soaked up that emotion and that belief. And that's how quickly That is how quickly that can sink in, can get soaked up. And then that's it. Then that becomes the story. Until you are really willing to see what is going on outside of you, to do the deeper inner healing work. You know, no more surface level quick fixes, because they don't last. This is the deep depth healing work that is needed for long lasting breakthrough and life transformation, you see. So yeah, I was carrying something that my mum was feeling her entire life, but I was carrying it my entire life. And so, like I said, I even saw it in relationships when I was growing up, you know, and when I was older. So if you have already become this unrecognizable path, become on this recognizable path, congratulations. Massive, massive congratulations. I'm so proud of you. This journey isn't linear, and the healing work is deep. It is deep, but you did it. Keep going, never give up, and remember that you are enough and worthy just because you exist. So if you are starting to awaken to this, then I invite you to look at the Be Love program. It takes you through the root beliefs that you've been holding on, just like I did, and uncovers the truth that you have actually been carrying other people's vibrations, other people's stories within you. Now, you may be here to break a generational trauma. You may be here to receive abundance, love, financial wealth, and live the life that you've always wanted to. You may be here as somebody to break that generational curse, that generational trauma, so you can finally receive consistently abundance, love, financial wealth, and live the life that you've always wanted as the version that you were deserving to be, that you were born to be. You are enough just as you are. And you no longer need to chase, fight, or beg. You don't seek validation. Those who are meant to be in your life will be. Let that go. Celebrate yourself. Give yourself permission to feel worthy, to honor your journey, and to embrace your incredible light. They can no longer control you. That can no longer control you. This long-awaited breakthrough is here, and you have taken your power back, your worth, your existence, your light. This is your time to thrive as a person that lives inside abundance. So if you would like to find out more about the Be Love program, you can check out the reviews as well on my website, link below or in my bio. Any questions, you can just DM me on Insta, or you can email me at natalie@asthepenniesdrop.com, and let's have a conversation about the Be Love program being right for you. Sending you so much love from Ibiza. Please feel free to like, share, comment. I love your comments, you guys. And subscribe if you haven't already. It's lovely to have your support here, as always. And as always, guess what? I will be back from Ibiza very, very soon.